What you laughing about, Chris?
I'm not the one laughing. I just shushed him.
Oh, what's Pat laughing about? Welcome, everybody. Oh, yeah, my phone. Of course, my phone's going to make noise. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody. Let's see if we can get a couple of people up in here, and we'll go ahead and get things started up as per usual.
Can you send me that link, please?
The link? Oh, you need a link? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Do you need a link, man?
Oh, actually, no. I found it in the chat. Sorry.
Yeah.
This is the best intro.
I know, right? I know, right? It's amazing. We got 2 people watching. Yay!
Yo, I'm gonna go link this up.
Yeah, you gotta link that up.
3, so it's like me, you, and him.
I know, right? It's amazing.
We're the best audience.
We are, dude. We are. 53 seconds worth of live time with 3 people. 4 people. Oh, lordy, here we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are today, as usual, Sunday Let's Play live stream, whatever you want to call this debacle that we have created and sustained for whatever reason. I guess it's because y'all people actually like to watch it. But today we'll be playing Gungriffon 2 from Game Arts. And yes, I'm going to move stuff around so that you know that we're not just looking at a blank screen. It might take a second, like 30 seconds. But by the time you see it, it'll actually be happening, though. It'll be okay. All right. So with all that being said and done, let me go ahead and give some introductions on the matter. Myself, Samuel, the Southern Sega gentleman from the Saturn Junkyard is here. We also have Pat from the Sega Saturn Shiro podcast, as well as Chris, the mainstay of the Saturn Memories channel. So anybody else want to give some boo-koo-koo, whatever information we got to give before we go ahead and drop the intro? Speak now, forever hold y'all's peace.
Buku.
Buku. Cool. 18 seconds intro. Here we go. All right, there we go. Intro time. Pat, you shared it out and everything. Hey, Pat.
I'm working on it. I'm having issues trying to find tag your account and this Junkyard's.
Yeah, I'm just looking for something to retweet at this point.
Oh, I got stuff. You know, we can do all kinds of fanciness.
Sam,
we can,
please change your name. I can't. I keep typing your name, Southern Sega Saturn.
Dude, it's not the Southern Sega Saturn. You just keep talking about stuff. It's the Southern Sega Gentleman. All right, ladies and gents.
I'll get your name eventually. One of these days, I'll be able to type it in without having to.
2 months later.
To fight the. Yeah.
No, what we're doing here is we're playing Gungriffon 2. This is a first-person mechanized combat game. You sit inside of an AUGS. Well, actually, it is. It's technically an AUGS. It's an armored walking gun system. The specific ones that we use are the HiMax series, which were created by Japan or America, depending on which version of the game you play. Well, which version of the game you play in regards to this one, Gungriffon 1, Gungriffon, you know, the 2 that were on, the one that was on the PlayStation. I mean, you got so many different stories. There's all kind of back and forth. It doesn't make any sense. The point being is that in the near future, as in 2015, so the past, or 2075, depending on the American, again, timeline discrepancies, all hell breaks loose. People ain't got oil, people ain't got water, people are just completely losing their minds, and World War III ensues. And you've got a bunch of economic blocks that are going to war with each other. Primarily, the United States and Japan are teamed up as per usual, and they are going at it with everybody that's big enough to die. That's the best way to describe this game. As you will notice, my screen does not have all the levels unlocked. That's because my main Sega Saturn, as I told Pat earlier, I believe I killed the power supply unit on it because it won't boot up anymore. So we're playing on a backup. Don't worry, we're going to get it back up and running. But we are playing on a Saturn regardless. Real hardware through the Framemeister as per usual. Now, one thing I think a lot of people have a problem with is the control scheme of this game. Whereas a lot of games you have control of your character with the D-pad and the buttons do everything else. In this game, the D-pad controls your cursor on screen. The analog triggers are for certain instruments, like your right trigger, not analog trigger, excuse me. Your right trigger is going to be for your fire, etc., etc. And your movement is controlled by the A and the X button. X being forward, Y, A being going in reverse. That's layman's terms, put it brief. So, with all that conjecture out of the way, we're going to go ahead and drop into the very first mission, which is basically your introduction, time to blow crap up. So, here we go. There's a whole bunch of text in Japanese. I'm going to let it stroll through just in case we got some Japanese readers out there. They can probably drop in the chat what's actually being said and done. And other than that, we're just going to let it roll. All right, we got Paul up in the mix. We got Chase in the mix. That sucks. Best of luck.
Paul heißt es PowerSlave, schwimmbad an der Ecke.
Dude, stop talking in foreign languages. I'm Southern. I don't need this in my life.
You speak. Your family speaks it.
That's not the point. They don't speak it. Or maybe they do. We actually do have some German folks in the crew. We got Bajorn from over there. I probably just butchered his name. This is the cool thing about it. This thing, the boot up system, the memory check on this mech is 1,024 megabytes. That is
memory check.
Yeah, it's got a memory check.
Check.
Mic check.
Mic check. 1 2 1 2. Mic check. 1 2 1 2. What's up, babe? One thing that I got a question about the other day. Somebody made the comment to me. They were like, you said something along the lines that you have limited ammunition in these games. That's not right. And I told it, and I want to explain that to people who don't understand. You do have limited ammunition. You have a finite amount of ammunition because of one single point. If you don't take care of your resupply helicopter, you're not going to get any more ammo. And a lot of people don't realize that, and it messes people up for days.
All day. Also, I started tweeting, sharing that, so.
I appreciate that, man.
So we got all that good. I tagged Mr. Saturn Memories.
Saturn Memories.
All the good stuff.
Saturn Memories.
Yeah, this game is really. It reminds me a lot of the Gundam games, Gundam Side Story.
It does, but the control scheme is entirely different. The control scheme to this game is entirely different. I actually prefer for one, the D-pad in that game controls your motions along the X and Y, the X-axis. Instead of, hold up, I got my thoughts there for a second. Instead of the, alright, look, in Gundam Side Story, the triggers control your turning left or right, okay? Whereas the D-pad basically controls your movements along the X-axis, forward, backwards, strafing left and right. I prefer that because it's very similar to what we have now in modern shooters. A lot of Saturn shooters, or first-person shooters for that matter, during the 90s had extreme issues with control scheme, and the control scheme was constantly changing. No one could figure out exactly what they wanted to have control-wise. See, my supply helicopter just dropped, so I need to get over there, take care of it, go ahead and up armor, re-armor, get all my fanciness and such going on.
All fancy, all the time.
Now, another thing is your supply helicopter is only on the ground for so long. Like, I just missed it entirely because I was sitting over here in my thoughts. So now I've only got 6 anti-tank rockets. I've only got 20. I think there's actually a second helicopter on this one. I'm not sure. It's been a minute since I played. I mean, even though I was playing all morning to get the levels unlocked for this, I just wasn't paying that much attention. I was just kind of burning through it.
Yeah. So this is a Japanese-created game, right?
Yes. Game Arts, I think, is the company that developed it.
Game Arts, yeah, Game Arts created it, and the first game actually utilizes the same engine as Grandia.
Really? That's really interesting.
Well, actually, the game engine for Grandia is this was basically a test game for it.
For Grandia?
Yes, for Grandia.
As in the RPG?
Yes, the RPG Grandia uses the exact same engine as this game, and this game basically was the test bed for it.
EverQuest had a similar situation. They developed a game I used to play a lot. It was called Tannerus. It was a 3D tank game that you played with a bunch of different people, and that was the test bed for EverQuest when that came out.
Just destroyed.
Wow, that is actually really cool. I guess it just shows the flexibility of some of these engines. I mean, you can't. Those two games are completely far apart, and I can't imagine. I can imagine people looking at the game and be like, "Yeah, this looks almost like Grandia, almost." You know.
Hey, is anybody looking at the chat just to see if we got?
Hey.
It's Dave, man.
Everybody run.
Everybody run.
Hey, Dave, you gonna tell me how you liking that PowerSlave?
Sure, I'm liking it a lot. It's awesome.
It is. It's an awesome game. For anybody who's not in the know, I was poking fun at Dave the other day. He went all like fanboyish and was making memes and such about PowerSlave, and I kind of rebutted him.
Well, to be fair, this is an equally great game.
I think I poked fun at both of you afterwards.
You did, and I swear to God, if you had actually turned that disc over and it had been the game, I would have come out to Arizona. It'd been on.
I know, right?
What are you talking about? It was the game. I threw it out.
You didn't throw it out. You didn't throw it out.
Yeah. To be fair though, when you're like, when you're just kind of dabbling in games and you're burning CDRs left and right. Sometimes you don't really give a game like its full due. You might. Kay mentioned something the other day. He was talking about like how if a game doesn't grip him in like the first 10 minutes, you move on to the next thing. And right. I think that's kind of that holds true. And I think it was just one of those things where I burned a copy, I popped it in, and didn't really play much past the first level. And my initial impression was, oh well, this is just like a Doom clone. I'm impressed with like the fact that it's running as well as it is, with the slave driver engine. But I was just kind of like not really giving it its full due. And then, when you pick up an actual copy of the game, obviously you're going to be a little more invested,
right?
Which is the case, So I was like, well, I got this, so I'm gonna give it a shot. And DF Retro was like talking it up. So yeah, no, it ends up being. It turns out it really is like a precursor for like Metroid Prime.
Yeah, I really want to play it now. You got me intrigued. And even with the Gungriffon, I want to try it out. To be honest, I never gave it its fair due as well. I mean, my friend just gave me a stack of Saturn games, and one of them happened to be that copy of Gungriffon.
And Patrick, you were saying that you have a pretty nice stereo system, right?
Yeah, I'd like to think so.
Well, then you're in for a treat, because when you play PowerSlave, just crank it up, because it sounds so good.
Gonna hit those walls bouncing.
Oh yeah, even like like some one gripe that I have with some first-person shooters is that the gun, just the reload and the sound of the firing just doesn't sound right. But this is one of those that like shakes the walls,
Yeah. So I wanted to go over a couple questions in the chat. So Chase Red, Chase. I feel bad now. Chase Red asked, "Have you played Metal Wolf Chaos on the original Xbox?"
Yes.
He wants to play it, but it's expensive.
That's like government one, right? It's like the American guy. Yeah.
Yes.
It's like a weird Japanese one, right?
Yeah.
It's not worth the asking price. It's not worth. I'm sorry if I was really close to my mic right there. It's not worth the asking price. That's my personal opinion on it. It's an awesome game if you have the means to play a backup of it. Play a backup of it. Otherwise, if you can snatch it for under like $80, not $80. I don't even know what the going rate for it is anymore. But the last time I looked at it, I kept finding copies that were like 90 plus, and it's not worth that at all.
That's the ultra patriotic one, right?
Yeah, that's the one where you're the president and you basically dish out up in a mech and you just go. And now, believe me, it's an awesome game. It's an awesome game. It's just personally, in my opinion, not worth the price tag.
So is the Xbox One the original Xbox region free?
No.
No.
Not to my knowledge. I mean, I don't think it is. Like my Xbox has been modded since freaking 2006. I think it has been 2006, 2007. So, I mean, I can run emulators on it. I can play DVDs on it. I can play burned copies on it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I actually didn't get to when it first came out. I was like only like 12 or 13.
Right.
So
right.
I didn't really get the opportunity to do that or have the skills to. Now that I've heard this, I really want to hunt one down now.
Let's see. Who was it the other day who said something about this? We had There was somebody who posted. I'm looking back up on the Saturn Junkyard. There was a gentleman who was wanting to know how. He was really looking forward to the stream, and he was wanting to know about the second level in the game, which is what we're about to play real fast. I want to make sure I don't drop this dude and not remember who his name is or whatever. Yeah, I can't find it, whatever. But he was really looking forward to it, and basically, I guess with the second level, a lot of people, on top of the fact that you got to maintain your ammunition count, you got to maintain your health, which is both done at the supply helicopter. You have a Chinook drop down. I don't know if it's a Chinook in game, but it's basically a Chinook. You drop down up on that Chinook, and you literally stand right next to it, like run into it, and it will resupply you. It'll build up some of your health. Sometimes it's a little glitchy. The best thing to do is be completely not parallel to the fuselage, but be perpendicular to the fuselage. That's the best way to make sure it's going to work right and it's going to do everything you're supposed to do. But a lot of people don't understand up on the second level. I guess, I'm not trying to accuse people or anything, but a lot of people go off that first level and think it's just go kill all the enemies. That is your only mission that really puts you in a position where it's just go kill all the enemies. The rest of them, to some extent or another, are basically defend them while they get out of the zone, with a combination of destroy all the enemies. And sometimes you don't even got to destroy them all. This one right here,
must destroy.
Right. This one right here is specifically you have to take care of everything up on this little farm area zone, whatever you want to call it. And if you don't, it's automatically incomplete. And the worst case about it is that in universe they have these high mechs called they're called the Panzer. Dude, my brain just went stupid. But basically, they're an AUG that's very similar to the high mech series. It can jump, it can fly, it can move really, really fast. And it's one of the three that can do it in series. That thing right there is going to come at you, and if you're not prepared for it, it will lay waste to everything. So the best thing you can do up in this level right here is at the very get-go, which a lot of these levels are like this, is the very get-go, take out all the small enemies you possibly can, the tanks, etc., etc. Knock them out as quickly as possible. Don't waste any of your special weapons like your rockets, your anti-tank rockets, all that stuff. Another thing is people who don't understand the Japanese, instead of just going straight up to the top, going play, go to your second option right here. That's going to give you the option to select a high max to come with you. And you have choices on what high max. Well, sometimes you have like helicopters you can bring into the mix. But this instance right here, we got one that's got a gun as an armament. We got one that's got an anti-tank missile as an armament. Always go for the anti-tank missile if possible, because they can do heavy damage. An anti-tank rocket does twice as much damage as your 120mm gun.
So Sam, if you don't understand Japanese and you were playing this game blind, would you be able to get through it with just the on-screen prompts, or would you recommend looking at a guide first or a playthrough?
Personally, I think this is one of those games you can just pick up and play. Now, your level of enjoyment, that's a whole different story. But it is a very, very easy game to get a hold of. I mean, it's not overly complicated.
Hey Sam, I'm sorry if this question was already asked, but are you using the VCD card?
The VCD card is not supported with Gungriffon 2. It's only supported with Gungriffon 1.
Oh, okay. All right.
Does that even work on the Does that work on the US version as well, or is it only Japanese?
I've never tested it out, to be honest with you.
I think it's only in the Japanese version.
Yeah, because there wasn't an officially supported VCD card for US Saturns. I think you'd have to like region mod your Saturn to get it to work.
I know it will work with the PAL release if you have a VCD card, so because
well, they did release a VCD card in that region. So
right.
It makes sense.
Yeah, in the US, they did in the PAL. Yeah. Oh, but they didn't release the game in that region.
No, they did release it. They released Gungriffon 1.
Yeah, Gungriffon. Sorry, but you're saying that there was never any support for Gungriffon 2 at all?
No, there was never any support for Gungriffon 2.
Okay.
Was 2 even released in the US?
No, Gungriffon 2 was only released in Japan.
Oh, yeah. Bummer. Yeah, it makes you wonder, with the VCD card, does it what exactly does it change and different between
the only difference that the VCD allows you to have is MPEG-1 video on the intro. That is it.
Yeah.
That's all it does. That is all it does. But I'm gonna tell you right now, and this is not me fanboying or anything, Gungriffon 1's intro with MPEG-1 video is the best intro on the Saturn. Period. Point blank.
It's already good as it is, like with the duck compression or whatever.
I mean,
is it True Motion? But then add MPEG-1, it's like absolutely mind blowing.
And this probably ain't gonna get me any fans, but if you don't agree with that, come fight me. Like seriously, that is.
Damn.
No, you're right. He's right, because even like, you know, I'm a huge Nights into Dreams fan, and the Nights FMVs are cool, but like there's a lot of compression there, and the Gungriffon intro, I think as it is alone, is like stunningly good looking for the Saturn.
Yeah,
and
you'd be hard pressed to find something better than maybe like some of the random Japanese idol or pop singer discs that they release over in Japan. Some of those use the MPEG card, and they look really good too.
So that's actually a thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I must say though, the Shining Force 3 FMV intro looks pretty good to my eyes, like without MPEG.
Dude, okay, I'm trying my best to get over here to this Chinook before it flies off for the third freaking time. Okay, like you get up on that Chinook, back off the controls, because if you're trying to walk, it's not going to do anything, but it will revitalize your health up to a certain point, sometimes all the way maxed out. But go to the weapons that you want, like your anti-tank missile, etc., and it will start reloading them. Okay, your gun, all this stuff, you're going to want to pick that up. Your RP is basically a shrapnel weapon, and you want to have a couple of them, because if you don't, it's just going to screw you up. Especially here in a second, whenever the Panzer... God, I can't remember what they're called, but especially here in a minute whenever we get a whole bunch of AUGs flying at us, it's going to get pretty wicked.
Sam, do you ever enable scan lines on the Framemeister?
I honestly do, dude. I am not a scan line guy.
Not a scan fan.
It does not really look good on YouTube either. That's another thing.
Oh, is that right?
It causes compression issues.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I'd be interested to see what they look like. If you could put those on maybe a little bit later, just like right after you're done.
Just to show us.
Yeah, I mean, we could possibly do that.
If I did it, it would be light though. I would never like do like 50% or anything. It would be like kind of a light scan line thing.
Yeah, the thing with the 32-bit games that you can go either way with them. I think they look good without them, especially the 3D polygonal ones.
Right.
But like some of the 16-bit ones, you might want to put those on.
I just know, like, I've seen people who, you know, swear by scan lines and they like to throw them up on YouTube. It looks really bad when you do it, especially like with games with a lot of high motion, like racing games. If you try to put scan lines on Outrun or something like that and toss it onto YouTube, it just drives their compression algorithm nuts, and you get all kinds of really bad macro blocking.
Even if you upload in 720p?
See, I don't know. Like,
because I know that 1080 would just cause problems, or if you were trying to do it like on 4K or anything. But I was thinking 720 might not. I don't know. I don't know. Actually.
Maybe, but the sorry.
Go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry, man.
But the lower the resolution you have, the less of a bit rate you have to work with on YouTube. So you don't.
Yeah, I heard you talking about that.
You have less bandwidth to work at lower resolution. So. It still would probably cause issues at 720, probably more.
And another thing I was going to say is whenever you stream on YouTube, the default stream is 720. So.
Yeah, your video looks really good though, Sam.
It does.
That has a lot to do with the Framemeister. A lot of people don't want to upscale, but I'm gonna be honest with you. Whenever it comes to capturing your gameplay, etc., you really need to be working on a Framemeister.
Yeah, I really want to get one myself for the streams that we do, but right now I'm doing that little HD upscaler, but it's, I mean, in all honesty, it's pretty ugly.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, once I get that Framemeister, it's gonna be great. But for now.
Are you talking about like the little $40 black one?
Yeah.
So it's the dithering, or I don't know, the frame, like between frames. That's where it really, when it comes to like movement and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, even streaming, I'm noticing that it's having issues with some of the colors on it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of not it kind of doesn't look the greatest, but it does its job for what it needs to be. But maybe I'll buy it off the Chaz or something.
So
Oh,
Sam,
yeah.
go ahead.
No, go ahead, Chris.
I was just going to say, Sam, you're an Xbox owner. I take it you probably own the sequel that's on the Xbox as well.
I own all the Gungriffon games that have ever been released.
Oh, nice.
What's your favorite?
Gungriffon Blaze for the PS2. And a lot of people absolutely hate it, but I love the Gungriffon series on the PS2. It's one of them games. I was talking to somebody. I think it was who was it that commented earlier? Speedy Reviews. He does some pretty awesome reviews for anybody who hasn't ever listened to him. But Speedy Reviews commented on the Mobile Suit Gundam side story video that we just dropped a little while back. And that video right there, I gave it a thumbs up. A lot of YouTubers give it a thumbs down. One thing you got to understand, and I don't know if this is a disconnect for maybe younger generations or just people who don't prefer that style of gameplay, but us who grew up back in the 80s and the 90s, most games, me and my wife were talking about this before the stream, most games back then, you didn't have alternate you didn't have alternate endings. You didn't have, all these different things that you could do with the game for the most part. At the end of the day, what it was all about is beating your own score half the time. Like, you go through something, you try to beat it, and then you try to get better at it, The Gungriffon games are a prime example of that. Yes, there is a story. Some Gungriffon games you can actually play, you don't even have to go in succession. I mean, this is one of them that you do for the most part. You have to beat one level to go to the next. But it's all about beating your own score. Like right there, I by no means beat my high score because I didn't even make the leaderboards on that one. That was a very bad playthrough. That beating your own score is what's awesome about these games, and that's why I like Gungriffon Blaze, because it's very, very fast-paced even compared to most of the other Gungriffon games. Gungriffon Allied Strike, which is the Xbox one, it slowed things down a lot. But the biggest complaint with that game, me personally, is the control scheme. They have the two analog sticks are so screwed up. One of them controls looking up and down as well as moving left and right on the x-axis, and the other one does the exact opposite. Again, they hadn't perfected the idea of what first-person controls are supposed to look like or work like on a DualShock system, on a two analog stick system. So,
right. Have you, Sam, have you played, this is kind of left field, but have you played Ghost in the Shell on the PS1?
I have, dude. That is a very, very awesome name.
Dave, you're dropping hot titles right now, and I'm loving it. That's one of my favorite PS1
I got to take a look at this.
That's a game for me that looks great with scan lines. Even though it is 3D, it looks, I don't know, on the line doubler here with scan lines, it looks great. But it's kind of, I like it for the same reason I like Gungriffon. It just has that kind of like raw shooting. It just feels really good. It's almost like a mix between a little bit arcadey and a little bit like mission oriented. It's just like a perfect blend.
Right.
It's fast too. That's the thing, is the gameplay gets really frenetic and fast. So it kind of keeps you on the edge of your seat.
Oh yeah, like this mission right here that we're about to play. Let's see. This one is not that difficult. The third mission is not that difficult. The second mission isn't that difficult. You just got to maintain. You got to make sure that. Hold on, let's talk. You got to make sure that your helicopter stays alive. This mission right here, you have a convoy you're having to take along, and it gets pretty breakneck right out of the bat. You get AUGs coming at you all of a sudden. It's not in any way like the practice is over. that is it, and that's the Gungriffon Blaze for the PS2. Whenever you're done with the first mission, it goes practice or whatever, training is over, and that reminds me so much of this game sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Escort missions suck no matter what era they're in.
Dude, like half of this game is an escort mission. If you don't like escort missions, give it a try, but realize that the escort missions aren't really escort missions so much as they are. You can't let everybody die, but you don't have to make sure. Like, if one person goes out of the area, you're good. You are.
Yeah,
good.
It's not as bad as SOCOM. The SOCOM games, I hated the escort missions on those.
Have you ever played the Lanos game that's on the Saturn?
Oh yeah, Salt Suit. Yeah.
Dude, I love Assault Suit Lanos.
I think the third mission's an escort mission. It is the hardest damn mission in the entire game.
It is, yeah.
Oh, and by the way, Saturn Memories does a real good playthrough of all the Leonos games, the Vulcan games, all of them. Go check him out if you haven't. He did a beautiful playthrough on them.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. So I'd like to query you guys about the twin sticks. Have you guys used them in these games? How do you feel about using those versus a D-pad on the Saturn?
I have used them for this one as well as the Gundam Side Stories. Like I said earlier, I don't own them. I mean, it's interesting. I'll put it that way. I'm not going to say it's the definitive way to play the game, but I mean, it's interesting.
You don't have as many buttons though, right? You don't like have as many options.
Well, I mean, I couldn't get into it, man. I'm like you. I don't think there's enough button. Maybe there's ways that you can like do things to make it work right, but it just didn't seem to work right for me.
Yeah.
Well, like some of the commands, like I know for Virtual On, like if you want to jump in that game, you pull the twin sticks apart, and that's how you do a jump.
Right.
So some of it's motion based.
Well, see, I remember that because in the arcade was the first time I played Virtual On, so I was actually accustomed to playing with the twin stick format even all the way back then.
So how do you jump in a certain direction though if you're required to pull them apart? You know.
Well, like, I know whenever you were in the arcade, like take for instance Virtual On, you had to, if you wanted to dash left, you had to take both of them. You had to push them both to the left really fast, and that would dash you to the left.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's really cumbersome doing that after a while, though.
But jump
after like 12 or 15 matches.
Yeah, you can build up momentum and then pull them apart, and you'll go in that direction. And I think if you push them together, you can cancel out of your jump. So that's usually what I see like good players do if they're trying to like avoid being hit. They'll move, jump, and then cancel out of the jump, so they go right back down on the ground and start moving again.
Do you feel like the sticks have the potential to offer any kind of advantage, or do you think you'd be better sticking with a pad?
See, I'm not really sure because I haven't used them all that much. I bought a pair of twin sticks last year, and I haven't really used them.
To use. Yeah.
Well, I have used them a little bit, but not a whole lot yet.
Mm-hmm.
What I ended up doing was I bought a set of modded Dreamcast twin sticks. They were modded for the Xbox 360 since every Virtual On game except for Mars and of course this recent ones they're coming out with. It's a crossover game. You know, all those Virtual On games are all on the 360. So I figured I could use them for making video you know, shooting videos off of that console. But I have you know to this you know at this point I still haven't used them a whole lot. So I'm still learning.
God, I keep missing my cues to come over here and resupply.
Yeah. One thing that feels really good about this game is just like the rocket boosted side strafing, you know, like and where you can like do the high moon jumps and then just fire on stuff below. It's just that's what always impressed upon me. Like with this game is just the control is so fluid.
And a lot of people don't realize, I mean, you don't have to always be moving 1,000 miles an hour in this game. And a lot of people don't even realize whenever you jump, you still have the ability to move.
Exactly. Because
a lot of people are still thinking about the D-pad. I think that they're expecting the D-pad to allow them to move. But it doesn't. So you have to, I think that's the biggest hurdle for a lot of people is getting over the A and the X button.
Yeah. Yeah, because the D-pad just kind of like rotates your view. But
right.
To actually move forward, you know, you got to use your boosters.
Exactly, and if you're ever in a situation where you're up against an AUG that can really move, I mean, can really move, then what you need to start using is your ability to strafe, which is your left trigger. You can actually strafe with it, and that will give you the ability to, you know, stay in line with a lot of these people that are moving on you fast. Which,
is there a lock on here?
Yeah,
strafe.
There's not a lock on. I mean, I'm using the anti-tank rifle, the anti-tank missiles right now, and they lock on.
Okay. And they lock on while you're strafing?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I mean, whenever you're strafing, all you're doing is you're literally just rotating the torso. That's all you're doing.
Sure.
Like, and once you let go of the strafing button, it will come back to normal, like right there. And I shouldn't have done that right then, because my people is just dying. But I'm almost done with the level. I'm about to have my last little engagement with it. There's going to be a couple of crab walkers that are going to come up from both sides, a couple of heavy ones and a couple of medium ones. The medium ones are the gray ones, tannish color, and the heavy ones are going to be the black ones, gray ones. Those things right there can wreak havoc, so take care of them as quickly as possible, but realize you don't have to destroy them. All you have to do is keep them off of everybody's back long enough to move with it. So that's basically... I mean, this is really a simple game in the long run, so...
Yeah, still, when I do my, when I shoot videos of these games, I'm probably going to have to consult with you, since you seem to know them inside and out.
I mean, I've been playing them for years, man. This was actually one of the first imports I ever bought. I mean, I was kind of talking about that with my video yesterday on the Gungriffon series. Like, I wasn't really big into the whole import scene because I was so young, but whenever I did get into the import scene, I got into it. And then I ended up selling almost my entire collection, so yeah.
What was the first Gungriffon a game that you had as a kid or something?
Yes. That was my fourth game I bought for the Saturn.
So you played that, and then later on you found out, oh, there's a whole other game, and it never came out in the U.S.
Yeah, that really... The only reason I even knew that was because of Gungriffon Blaze.
Nice.
Come on, man, who's getting tired? I got people yawning up in stream, man. We can't be having that.
I got my coffee.
Dude, I've got coffee too. Don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
Stop it. These dudes are about to destroy my last guy at the very last second. I'm not cool with it. Sometimes you just got to keep the enemies off of everybody. You can do that if you'll just like keep on their ass. Now I'm completely out of rockets. Out of everything. Now I just got to make sure all my people stay alive.
I really love the like the sprite animation for explosions.
Oh yeah.
Especially like the ones that bellow up from the ground and then they kind of like fade out.
Exactly.
That's like excellent sprite work.
And I love how this is an example of like mini games back then. Once the level's done, the enemies just keep shooting you. Yeah. That's like my favorite part about it, because mission complete as they completely riddle me with bullets.
Yeah.
Didn't do very good on that one. See, like whenever you, this is a suggestion for you, Chris. Whenever you're playing these games, it'll be a lot easier for you whenever you're focused on them instead of focusing on talking and streaming at the same time, because I haven't really met anybody who can sit and talk and play this game at the same time. You've really got to be into this game to really enjoy it. This next level right here is probably the one I hate the most, because you've got to protect the static target again, and there is a crap ton of Augs that come out of nowhere. So let's see. Chat done slowed down. Anybody want to talk? Anybody want to ask any questions? That goes for all y'all fine gentlemen too. Pat's been real quiet.
I gotta step away. Hold on just a second. Kid woke up.
Kid done woke up, man.
In general, though, like talking and streaming at the same time or talking and playing a video game at the same time, trying to actually have a coherent conversation about what you're doing and just talking to other people at the same time, it's difficult. It's hard to do.
Oh yeah.
Especially if you're trying to keep an eye on a chat too and read what people's comments are. Especially
whenever I got to move my head a full 90 degrees to see the chat.
Yeah.
No, this right here, I wanted to show what the pause menu actually looked like. You got your time limit. It talks about your ammunition and such. You do have the restart capability, all that. But you can move the map around. Like, you can actually see what's going on. You can see where enemies are. Gives you an idea if you got any messages, they'll pop up. Pretty just basic, simple stuff. Another thing I haven't showed is the fire support system. I need to try to show that here in a second.
Paul, he said the PS2 game earlier.
Oh, the PS2?
Yeah, somebody in the chat's asking what your favorite Gungriffon game is.
Oh, I got you. I got you.
The PS2 one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
PS Doozle.
PS2 was. I don't care. The PS2 was awesome. I appreciate all consoles.
Who said it wasn't?
Dude, you got major Sega fanboys who are just.
Well, then they should love all the Sega games that are on the PS2.
I know, right?
Not to mention, like, they have a bunch of ton of great games on there. I mean, they're missing out if they don't want to play PS2.
That's
seriously,
what I'm
they're
saying.
there are a crap ton of like 240p games too. You know, like some of the Sega Ages stuff, some of the like Dodonpachi Daiojo. I mean, there's some awesome shooters on PS2 too.
I think overall Xbox made out a little bit better in terms of good Sega games.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
The 2500 series does have some really good things, like the Dynamite Deca remake on that. Oh, that's so good. You know, especially like the Altered Beast costumes and all that stuff. That's all great stuff. But like, you know, Panzer Dragoon Orta. I know a lot of people really like Shenmue. The Shenmue 2's on there on Xbox.
I gotta dig the Shenmue series.
Yeah, Jet Set Radio Future, if you like the Jet Set Radio games.
Dude, Jet Set Radio Future is awesome. God, it's awesome.
Well, no question. I mean, there's a lot of good Sega on Xbox, probably more so, like you said. But I mean, you know, PS2 is nothing to scoff at. It's good
not.
stuff,
it's
too.
not. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, DF Retro was just saying, you know, that after the Saturn version, like the definitive port went to PS2 with the Ages version, like
exactly,
or at least they were saying it was better than the PC port to Xbox that you got. But then again, Xbox got Orta, so nobody's complaining.
Chase, Virtuon, the best version of Virtuon is going to be on the Dreamcast. It's going to be on the Dreamcast. A lot better graphics. Game handles a lot better. It's just a more enjoyable game to play.
Not to mention, it's as close to possible with the Naomi hardware that the Virtual On Orega, the arcade version used.
I think the arcade version was Model 3, not Naomi. Right. But Dreamcast was more powerful hardware than
the
Model 3.
Dreamcast went on.
Oh, we got a good question. This is for everybody. Favorite system to collect for? I'm going to point blank come out and say it. It is the Saturn. It has always been the Saturn, and next to that, it's going to be the PS2.
What about you? What about the rest of you guys?
Saturn, and then DS.
Freaking DS.
Dave is a unique breed.
Dude, I have some awesome DS games. If you like RPGs, and if you like SNES era RPGs, the DS has got you covered.
Nokia N-Gage.
Hell yeah.
Or Sega
really?
Saturn. No, Sega Saturn.
I would. Oh, go ahead, Pat.
I have to say, either the Neo MVS or the Dreamcast. Because
both
I really,
choices.
I really love both the consoles, and even though I love Saturn, I have to say my first love is the Dreamcast, and I can't get away from it.
A lot of people are like that. Stop messing with my resupply, you stupid freaking... I'm sorry. I was about to get pissed.
Yeah, Dreamcast it's a close, I think, second or third for me.
Yeah.
I didn't mention that, but yeah, it's...
I wish I could love Saturn, but it's just like so expensive nowadays.
You can still love it. You just can't.
I love it. I love it by emulating and Drive.
Yeah, you got your RIA.
Distance.
Yeah. You got your RIA loaded up with every image there.
Oh, this is about to be rough here in a second. This is what I was about to talk about. We're gonna have a lull for whatever reason. There's a huge lull in this level to where there's like 2 minutes of nothing going on. I don't know if it's a glitch with a game, if it's a glitch with my game. It's always been this way every single time I played it, but there's just like, there's text going on. I have no idea what it's saying. It's Japanese. But for whatever reason, there's like 2 minutes you can just sit here and chill out. So
let me ask you. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Damn it, Dave.
Well, I just want to know, like, am I the only one here that likes the DS?
I like it.
I don't have a problem with handhelds. This is probably my thing is I'm not that big into Nintendo hardware, and it's probably got a lot to do with I don't really own a lot of Nintendo hardware. I mean, the only Nintendo piece of kit I have is a Super Nintendo I bought my wife.
Okay, but Sam, I hear you here, but you have to understand, the reason I like the DS is for all of the ways that it's so similar to, like, I dare I say it, the Saturn. And I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding. It has a 32-bit processor. It has loads of great, like, 32-bit era looking, like, action games, RPGs, and then it's also got you covered for a bunch of, like, retro 2D stuff as well, you know? Like, it's one of those, like, it's like having a Super Nintendo, Genesis, and, like, Sega Saturn in your pocket. And there are some games that I could definitely recommend that will feel like, with the resolution and everything and with the graphics, they'll feel like you're playing a Saturn game. Some of the Sonic games on there are really awesome, like Solo Torobo.
Not to stop you, but I don't understand what just happened. Apparently I have a mission incomplete, but the sub was still taken care of. All my targets were defended. That had to have been a glitch, man. There is, I don't understand that. I don't understand that at all.
Huh.
I don't understand that, dude, because I mean everything was still good to go. Like, I don't know. I guess we're gonna have to retry it, boys.
I guess so.
Uh-oh.
Maybe it was that lull.
That lull's always been there. There's like 2 or 3 minutes on that stage where there's nothing going on. Nothing.
Let's face it, the game did not like me talking about the DS.
I guess no. But
what is this bullshit?
Back to the DS though. I mean, I've never really picked up a DS per se. I have picked up a what's it called?
PSP.
Yeah, no. The PSP. I absolutely love the PSP. I keep it hooked up to the Framemeister. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I can appreciate handhelds. I don't have a problem with handhelds.
The PSP just kind of feels like a portable PS2 though.
It does.
It's just got a different feel to it.
I don't know. I think I just liked it. I think I like it for that reason.
Sure.
Hey y'all, how's it going?
It's the virtual slub.
Hey guys, yeah, sorry I like completely spaced out. I've been working on a bunch of projects and stuff around here, and I haven't really checked any online things in a while. So.
Yeah, we were starting to think you'd done past or something, man.
Yeah. I personally thought you fried yourself with the GD-EMU.
Oh my gosh, I actually haven't been able to get to that over this weekend. I've been working on a couple of videos and stuff, so.
New video drops for the pod. Yeah.
Uh-oh. So how is that going, by the way? I hadn't heard from you from last time I posted in the chat.
Like I said, I don't think I've had a chance to try working on it this weekend, so.
I gotcha.
Probably this evening.
Yeah, I actually got the Raya going. I got this SD card. I don't know if you saw the recommendation I sent you, with the the red and gray colored SanDisk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just ordered another one. I mean, I have a 32 gig Kingston that I was trying to use. That hasn't worked. Obviously, the 128 gig PNY. That one I, would probably try to use your software for, but for some reason the link wasn't able to work when I tried it on Friday, or Thursday. But I'll try what the new thing you posted.
Yeah, it's a PDF of how to set that all up.
Okay.
One of the things Kay ran into, he said he couldn't get the same one I had working. It turned out that his Raya.ini was not working, was corrupt.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So I would try reinitializing that and trying that if you're not getting it working.
All right. Yeah, I'm still waiting on the Raya. I know I ordered that one as well, but I assume those ones take a little longer to produce.
Oh, another thing for you to
Possibly.
know about next time, Chris, is if you really want to turn around really, really fast, press whichever side you're wanting to go, left or right, and then hold down kind of at an angle. That'll get you moving really fast in that direction.
Bit of a quick turn, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it literally is a quick turn. The only problem is that you're halfway looking at the ground the whole time.
That's a little odd, but yeah, I guess I can kind of understand it, given the limitations of having a 2D controller.
Yeah, and you were actually, I bought this on your recommendation, Sam, because you had done the video or the review a while back of Gungriffons 1 and 2.
That's the
I
one
still
where
need to play it.
That's the one where Saturn Memories ripped me a new butthole. So I needed to use background noise, and I was like, man, I tried.
Like music or something? Is that what you meant, Chris?
Well, I wasn't like, I was trying to offer up like helpful criticism, you know.
Poking fun, man.
No, you know, I was saying is there was no audio, no background audio at all. So either, you know, like he was saying, he couldn't record any whatchamacallit, any of the background audio from the games at the time for whatever reason. But still,
Yeah.
he you know, even if you have that limitation, you can like just go into the game's Red Book audio and pull out a couple of your favorite, you know, BGMs and
Right.
just have them playing in the background throughout the entire video.
Right.
That's like the easiest solution to that problem.
Yeah.
That was like my first video for the website too. So I mean, I have to give myself a little bit of slack.
It's a learning experience, you know. I've made a ton of mistakes over the years, and I still do. So, you know, you're gonna fall on your face sometimes, but other times you just gotta learn. You'll figure it out in time.
YouTube 101, everybody.
Yeah, I'm pretty lazy when it comes to that. I pretty much just have whatever the scene I'm depicting is the audio that I'll have go through. Although usually I'm trying to like put the dialogue or whatever is being said on screen as like part of the story, I guess.
Yeah, that's fine. That's what most people tend to do. But like, if you like with Sam, like I think he was saying he couldn't, for whatever reason, capture the audio from the game.
The audio and the video were not synced up in any way whatsoever.
Yeah, that was the issue.
Yeah, so it would have been hours, and I tried to begin with. I tried to get everything synced up, and it just got to a point to where I was so frustrated with it, I just said, nah.
Yeah, so my suggestion was mainly just like a workaround. Like, okay, you can't, your audio was out of sync, so the next best thing you can do is just pull some background music from the CD itself and just overlay that in the background as you're talking over the game.
So what did you think of the latest video then?
Oh man, what was your latest video?
That was the Mobile Suit Gundam one.
That's right, I did watch that. So it was pretty good.
Hey guys, so we got a question in chat by Chase again. What shmups do you guys recommend for the Saturn?
Oh my god.
Burn, like to burn?
Well, any. I recommend Batsugun is my biggest recommendation. If you like shoot 'em ups, play Batsugun.
It is awesome. I mean, you know, they're all so expensive, but Blast Wind is awesome. Guardian Force.
Guardian Force is really unique. Yeah.
Cotton 2, Cotton Boomerang. Oh, awesome games.
Cotton is my jam. That and Twinkle Star Sprite. I love those cute 'em ups.
I mean, if you like cute 'em ups, yeah, Game Tengoku. The Game Paradise, that's a fun one. I mean, but,
that's on Steam now too. If you
I mean, Sokyu Gurentai, that's a STV port. You know, so it came over native to the Saturn, and then they ported it to the PlayStation. But I feel like the Saturn port is really good.
That one plays a lot like the Ray series too, if you like those games.
Oh yeah.
Well, now that I figured out what I was forgetting, there's a spot at the very top of the map where there's a little skirmish going on, and your helicopter's flying off, and I keep forgetting about that. That's what's going on. I'm forgetting about that. But I'm not going to play through that again because people are still watching. I don't want them to have to watch the exact same thing over and over again. So we're gonna go to the next one, and in my opinion, personally, this is probably the hardest mission out of the entire game. So I'm gonna get frustrated. So y'all can talk, and I'm gonna try my best to destroy everything big enough to die. Like
Sounds good to me.
Getting back to your Mobile Suit Gundam review, Sam. I mean, I'm sorry because I blanked on it for a second there because I've had a busy weekend.
You're good, brother.
But it's pretty good. I do have some things that I could probably point out to you.
You go ahead. If you
do better in the future.
Yeah, you can send me a message, brother.
Yeah, I'll just I'll do it like in the chat or something like that, or in the video comments if you want me to. Depends.
We can just talk about it after the fact, brother.
All right.
That way you don't have to rip me a new one in the stream.
I'm not trying to. Yeah, I'm not trying to dump on you or anything, but there was like one or two things, but you know, on the whole, it was still pretty good.
That's what I mean. That's all I'm looking for is pretty good. No, I want better.
Yeah, you clearly know that series, so.
I don't know about him, Sam, but I'm more than willing to insult you.
Go ahead and do it, baby. Like I said, I'm going to die on this level more than likely because here in a minute there is going to be a wave of enemies, and if I'm remembering right, I'm trying to remember because depending on where you're on at the map, that's where the augs come in at. So if I'm over here, they're going to come on the other side, and if I'm on the other side, they're going to come over here, and there's going to be 2 bipedal walkers, then there's going to be a couple of leopards, and there's yeah, here we go.
Yes.
Oh, I forgot to. Oh, go ahead.
Damn it, Dave.
Damn it, Pat. Hyperduel. Why didn't it's super expensive, but it's awesome.
Dude, Hyperduel, just do not buy that game. Just burn it, dude.
Just burn it.
Just burn it.
But it is you must play it.
You must play.
If you want a good game you should check out, it's definitely would recommend picking up Eiffel Home.
Oh, please don't do that to him.
Yeah, that's probably one of the best Saturn games ever, all time. It's like $2,000, but you will love every second of it. Hands down, my
Go
favorites.
burn yourself a coaster.
Its companion piece is Heim Waltz, if you're looking for something similar and just as good.
Mm-hmm. I definitely think it outdoes all the shmups on the system combined.
Dude, and they just keep throwing them at you on this level, man. That's what pissed me off about it back when I was a kid. It still pisses me off now. There's just so much crap on this level.
But yeah, we're actually trying to hunt down that house from Eiffel. Because I heard rumors that it might be... We heard rumors it might be in Oregon somewhere.
Oregon.
Well, that's...
It's quite basic, right?
Basic.
Yeah, well the thing is that it's called Oregon and Home, so it must be somewhere. I mean, we apparently we've looked at some articles and someone says it might be somewhere in Oregon, but I'm thinking that it might just be a model home they set up and probably just tore down afterwards.
Can I ask you guys a question? If any of you played a lot of PS1, how do you feel these graphics compare to PS1?
Dude, this game in particular gives the PS1 a run for its money.
I don't know. There's a lot of dithering in this game. It's really heavy on it.
Okay. Let me rephrase that. Early PS1 games, this gives it a run for its money.
How early we
like
talking?
Contemporary.
Yeah, contemporary.
Which this was like what? 97?
98.
98. Okay.
Get down up on the ground. Get down up on the ground.
That's fair enough. I don't know. To be honest, though, if I had to pick one, it might be the PS1 in terms of U.S. library, though.
Mm-hmm.
God.
Yeah, I mean, there are some good-looking 3D games on the Saturn, but you know, none of them really hold up to the best the PlayStation has to offer in terms of how they look.
Sure.
He just blew
I mean, they're probably more than willing to put that. They're probably more than willing to put that extra effort out, considering the PS1 is so easy to program for.
I just think sometimes we have a way of misremembering. You know, maybe we remember something being a little better than it is, and that kind of goes for Saturn and for PS1. You know, like
I think it goes for everything in life, basically.
oh sure,
Yeah,
that's why I really like side by sides, because then you can really kind of see, like, I don't know, games like Panzer Dragoon Saga. I know we talk about that one a lot, but it is one that really does looks visually stunning. And you know, I've talked about games on the late games on the PS1, like Vagrant Story, which I think even with the muted color palette, like, just really pushed that console and looked great. But I don't think that they look that much better than, you know, like Panzer Dragoon Saga or something like that.
Well, the Panzer Dragoon games have that. Like, there's an interview out there with Futatsugi, who was the director of the first game and
Right.
on Saga, and he basically explained that when they built the original game, they tried to tailor it as much as possible to what the hardware was good at. So it has a really unique look in it, and it looks so good.
There's it's so stylized.
Yeah,
That is true.
so you know that's a game that just lends itself really well to the hardware.
Mm-hmm.
All right, before we get way too off into this, what I'm going to do is to give everybody a general idea of what it is. Besides all that, this game has numerous other factors going for it. Not only do you have the actual gameplay where you can go through the storyline. Hold up, I pressed the wrong button. I don't speak Japanese or read kanji. I apologize for that. Let this thing load up. Yeah, that's my replay. I know. You have a replay factor up in this game. That's something I wanted to talk about as well. You have a replay factor. The replay factor is awesome because you have complete and utter control of your console. Not your console. What am I doing? I'm pressing the wrong buttons. Whatever. Once we get up in here, I'll quit and go back to the main menu. Or I'll just reset the console and start over and show you. But you have the replay mechanic, which allows you to take... I don't know what they had it for, because, I mean, you really couldn't record the videos of it. But, I mean, to be honest, if you wanted to make montages of this game, you could absolutely do it. That was cool. That was completely left field, I know.
Crickets.
I know. Everybody got quiet on me. They don't want to hear about no replay value. I was going to burn this up. Yeah.
Nope. I actually need to step out for a second, but I'll be back.
Cool, brother. Cool, brother. All right, so you go to single player. Throw you through some options. You got your play level, all that, your BGM sound, twin stick use, etc., etc. It's all good to go. Throw up on your scenario. That's what we were just playing. That's your actual gameplay. You have an exercise mode. That is just your training, etc. Versus battle, we don't have use of that because that's where you do your tasing cable. You can actually link up multiple systems and play against another person, as well as one person have control of the upper half of the mech, the other person have control of the lower half of the mech. Now, what you can also do is you can do survival. This is really awesome. This is really awesome. So, like, let's go to Vladstock. Now, this is, and in my review I talked about this. You have numerous units you can pick from. Here we go. High Max. Of course, it's all in Japanese. It's another High Max. This is the one that the enemy always seem to be using against you. I used to know what all the names were for these individual units, but you also have helicopters. You got different helicopters. You got your crab walkers. You got your four-legged walkers, your elephants, or whatever they're called. In fact, that one right there is a beast. This thing right here can destroy everything, man. Y'all got to see this in gameplay, dude. Because, I mean, it makes no sense because this thing is so slow. It's just a lumbering tank. But, I mean, one hit and it just destroys stuff.
So, Sam, when you describe the co-op mode for where two people are, one person's the lower half, the other person's the upper half, right. I just keep thinking of like a tall man gag.
Oh my god, yeah, right.
It's like, yeah, one kid is in the bottom of the trench coat and the other's above, and they like try to sneak into the bar or whatever.
I mean, that's basically what it is. I mean, to a lesser extent or not.
Just with more explosions.
I mean, another thing about this game, this unit in particular, is just you have to understand too that you're at a higher. This is the one that always messed me up because you're at a higher point of view than you would normally be at. And on top of that, you have you only have 3 weapons. Dude, I'm getting annihilated right now. But whenever you hit something, it is dead. Whenever you hit something with that main cannon, it is gone. And the ability for this thing to turn around on a dime is just ridiculous. But I've actually played the System Link once with another guy who had it. This was probably in the late 2000s before I sold everything off. But it was, I mean, it was really fun. It was really fun to play against each other like that.
All right, I gotta play this game.
Dude, you've bought it and you haven't played it yet.
Well, that's true of like at least 1,000 games.
I have to say the same thing. I've got a huge backlog. This is probably not the best one for me to have shown, but it's just so fun to use this guy. Like he's just indestructible almost. I mean, he's not indestructible, but.
Cool. Yeah, I like the sprite explosions though. I think there's something about that that just looks, and then the smoke that billows after.
That's what Dave was talking about earlier.
Oh yeah, the sprite work is amazing.
Yeah.
And something else I was talking about in my review is that you have a lot of collision detection issues. Even it's not as like one hit from the main gun destroys most dogs with this thing. That is completely contrary to what goes on whenever you're using a high max. But collision detection in this game is not the greatest. In fact, I remember, if I remember correctly, Sega Lord X did a video on this way back when, and he mentioned the exact same thing. Oh, by the way, if anybody didn't know, Sega Lord X's channel backs up. So if you were a fan of his and you're a fan of ours, go give the boy some love, man.
Absolutely. I mean, he's having to kind of start from square one. Not completely, but like he needs you guys to go subscribe, so you're going to be ready to get his content on the 15th of April, I think.
That's right, 15th of April. He's going live with new content. He's putting his old stuff up there, you know, letting everybody get used to it. If you haven't already seen it, he's got a lot of great stuff going on. And we are really happy to have him back into the community.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to just having his old videos back up, just because I got into him, or I started watching him like right before he went off, or maybe a couple months before, and so I haven't had a chance to really sift through that backlog.
I think there's some good reference.
I think me and Dave are like some of the few guys who were watching him from the get-go.
Basically.
Like, I remember subscribing to him back whenever he only had like 100 subs or something like that. Or maybe 200 or 300 subs. But it wasn't long after he got started. Because he didn't have, but, what, like 10, 15 videos maybe?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was just what he did have, even though, you know, there's always room for improvement. What he did have was strong from the beginning, you know, and it was easy to see. It was just easy to see that, you know, he was heading the right direction, and he had the personality, you know.
Oh yeah, exactly. And he really does know what he's talking about. He described himself as a Sega fanboy, which I think most of us in this chat are. But he really did know what he was talking about, or at least did a crap ton of freaking research on some of them games. Mm-hmm. Especially the imports.
A lot of it is, though, just you know, just knowledge that he has from back in the day too, because I mean, he's been a lifetime Saturn or lifetime Sega fan, and so a lot of the imports he was getting in real time, you know.
Yeah, yeah, he was describing when he was a kid how he would pretty much get into that scene from the get-go, just because there were so many games at the time that.
I mean, I think he said he had like 500 import games, 500 Saturn imports.
Yeah.
If I remember right, he actually got import Saturn before the American Saturn even came out.
Correct. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I mean, he was Sega like fanatic.
Yeah. I mean, then you know, goes back with the Master System and the Mega Drive as well.
What were the launch games in Japan?
Panzer Dragoon.
Well, Virtua Fighter.
Wasn't Panzer Dragoon?
I feel like,
Of course.
no, I feel like Panzer Dragoon came out way later. In Japan.
Oh, what's that? What's that game? It's like a detective game. It was like the first, literally like the first Saturn game. It was like this weird kind of like FMV. Gosh, it starts with like a W or something. I forget what it is.
I do not know, dude.
No, it's one of those ones that comes up like way down on the low end on eBay and stuff. You see a lot of copies. Now I forget what it's called.
It is called the W game.
The W.
No, I'm gonna look it up now so I don't leave you guys hanging.
Almost out of ammo, boys. Almost out of ammo.
So I had a question for you all. Do you know if there's like a dating sim? I'm asking for a friend, by the way. This is not me.
Sure.
Is there a dating sim that's playable in English for the Saturn?
Oh.
You just want me to play it. That's all it is.
No, it's for a friend. I mean, I don't want to. It's not like I want to go play it or anything.
It's for
but the friend. But the friend he's talking about is you, Sam. So
hypothetically, like, does his name start with a P?
Maybe his name maybe would. He's just very alone and maybe wants to get some chicks on the Saturn.
He needs some anime love.
He needs some anime waifu love.
Oh my god. There's a special place in hell for people like us.
Yeah, but seriously, do you know if anything like that exists, or are they all unplayable basically?
Dude, I would be lying to you if I told you. I've never really been one to get up into the dating sim games. I don't think I've actually even played one. To be completely honest with you.
Hey, so
your
go
best...
ahead.
Oh, go ahead. It's fine.
What is your best? Your best?
Well, I was gonna say your best bet might be like Code R, which is like a hybrid racing game, dating simulator, adventure game thing.
Yeah.
That, just because it is split between genres, you might be able to get through that.
What about Sakura Wars? I mean, with a guide?
Yeah, I guess. There is a PC version too that is translated. You could do it that way too.
By the way, that game was Wan Chai Connection.
Wan Chai Connection.
Wan Chai, W-A-N.
Wanzai.
Wanzai.
Wasn't that a
like
launch
the
title?
like the Hong Kong district?
It's W-A-N-C-H-A-I. Do you pronounce that Zai?
Yeah, that's
okay.
I don't know. I actually have no idea.
Okay, well anyway, that was
that's how they
launch.
pronounce it in Shenmue 2.
I was not wrong. Virtua Fighter was Japanese launch title. So it was Mahjong, Goku Tenjiku, and then a game called Tama.
I wonder if that's a Mahjong game.
Virtua Fighter.
Tama's not a... Go ahead, sorry.
And then Wenchai Connection or Wanzai Connection.
Wanzai Connection.
Those four titles, that was it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Tama's not a Mahjong game. It's like a Marble Madness type game. But the difference is you actually rotate the board to move the ball around the board.
I really want to throw Gungriffon 1 in just to play the FMV.
It's really rad.
I mean, really. I mean, if you haven't already seen it, you need to see it. And I'm halfway tempted to just, put it on there.
And you do have the VCD card?
No, I do not have a VCD card. I hate to say I do not have a VCD card. I used to have one. Don't have one anymore.
Got rid of it?
Dude, whenever I say I sold my entire collection minus one game that was in a box. Like, the only reason SimCity 2000 did not get sold was because it was in a box. That was like... And it got moved 5 different times across over 1,000 miles, and it never broke. The hinge never broke anything.
Amazing.
But that was the one game I didn't sell.
Never mind, I'm full of shit. It is Wanchai.
Wanchai.
Whatever. But isn't it like a FMV or like detective kind of game?
I'd be lying to you if I told you. Man.
I don't know. I have no idea.
I don't know. I was just seeing if any of you guys knew. Maybe Chris. I don't know. But it's an odd lineup.
I want to say it's just, and I'm going purely from memory here. I think it's like a detective adventure story. There's like a murder or something by the river, from what I remember from like the FMV footage I've seen of it.
Yeah, it's a Micronet game, so it's play as a member of the Hong Kong police as they try to solve a murder mystery.
Ah, there we go.
So let's check out what to the chat. Do y'all want me to play a little bit more? Or do y'all want to go ahead and see the Gungriffon 1 intro video? I want to hear from the chat. I want to see what they want to say.
I want to see the Gungriffon 1 intro.
You want to see the Gungriffon 1 intro?
But I'm just biased.
Of course you're biased. Let everybody figure it out real quick. Go ahead and give that 30-second delay.
All this talk about Hong Kong police and stuff makes me want to watch some Kar Wai Wong movies or play Sleeping Dogs or something.
Nice.
I played that the other month. That was actually a lot of fun. It's too bad there's never going to be a sequel.
Yeah. I mean, it was a solid game for what it didn't. I don't feel like it tried to do too much, but the things it did were pretty solid. Like, I feel like both the hand-to-hand combat, the shooting, the driving, everything was pretty well polished for as much as it tried to do, and it didn't feel like it was overextending, unlike a lot of open world games that try to implement a lot of those different mechanics.
Absolutely, and given that game's troubled development history, it's kind of surprising.
Yeah.
All right.
It turned out really well.
Here we go. Here we go. We got Paul. You know what? In all honesty, if I play this, Paul, if I play this, I am more than likely going to actually play the game as well, just to give y'all a little bit of idea of how different the games are.
So we get a twofer.
Dude, this stream might go for 2 hours. Stream it out. Hey, somebody say we're about to play Gungriffon 1 on top of Gungriffon 2. I don't care.
Hey, take note that Chaz is also doing his stream and the Panzer Dragon one.
Oh, he's already started?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Well, we might not play then. We might just watch it.
We can work on that schedule if you want. We just need to get that all cleared up.
That was a misunderstanding between me and him. I guess he thought I meant Eastern time, and I was referencing Central time. So
I got you.
What's Chaz's? Is he East Coast?
Yeah, he's. I think he's New York.
Boston? I thought it was.
Oh well, I could be wrong. It could be Boston. I just it was in
East
that
Coast.
area.
Yeah.
The New England or Greater New York area. One of those two.
So probably Connecticut.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and
We'll compromise on Connecticut.
Yeah.
We're gonna let this thing load up real fast. Gungriffon: The Eurasian Conflict, which if you don't know, the American game and the European release do not mention the Eurasian conflict. They only mention Gungriffon. So the entire title screen, etc., is actually from the Japanese release. That's something a lot of people don't realize. No comment?
That's right. No, that's right. And it does it use the logo. It uses the Japanese logo, even though that's not used on the box art for the American release.
Exactly. Here we go. We got True Motion going down. And you know, some of the backstory, if you actually look in the back of the manual for Gungriffon Blaze, not Gungriffon 1, this isn't going to look as good because it's True Motion and it's kind of washed out a little bit because the Framemeister doesn't handle pure black very well. But in the back of Gungriffon 2, I could actually grab the box and read it off if I wanted to, but in the back of Gungriffon 2, it explains from the developers what was going on with Gungriffon whenever it first came over. It was originally going to be titled Iron Rain or Iron Storm, I can't remember off the top of my head. But whenever they were localizing this game, they changed a lot of things about it. Let me think. They changed a number of things. For example, this right here in the intro is talking about the years 2074 in China, whereas in the Japanese release, the year's 2015. Another thing is that in this game you're playing as an American in the American Expeditionary Force, whereas in the Japanese release, it's a little muddled on exactly who you're playing. It's more or less you're playing as an American / Jap. It's weird. I haven't ever gotten a complete story on it. I don't think the translation's exactly right, or what I've read translated was right. So if you were to just play this game in the American or European release, and then you were to go into 2, say it was actually translated in English, directly translated, it wasn't localized, you'd think you were playing 2 different timelines. And for a long time I honestly felt like because I went from Gun Griffon to Gun Griffon Blaze, and then picked up Gun Griffon 2 whenever I imported it very soon after. Because Gun Griffon Blaze was actually one of the first PS2 games that came out. It was actually CD based. You know, it had a blue back. It wasn't silverback DVD. Yeah. So whenever I picked up Gun Griffon 2 as an import, I'm sitting here trying to figure out, you know, what the hell's going on, and in my opinion, that was like I was playing a whole different timeline, a whole different universe, you know, alternate reality or something. That was a lot of conjecture, I'm sorry. But yeah, this opening is absolutely awesome. I wish I did have the MPEG-1 video showing to y'all right now, because it will blow you away.
Yeah. I mean, this is like some of the best FMV compression I've ever seen on Saturn. You know, just using True Motion.
I mean,
go ahead. Well, the intro to what's that one? The Daedalus. What's the American title for it? Chris, Daedalus Encounter.
Oh shit! What's
For the 3D?
No, for the Saturn.
Oh.
Cybernetica, Cybertronica.
That sounds right.
You know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
That has a stunning intro as well. That also has a stunning intro that like kind of blows you away. You're like, wow, this is the Saturn. The end game is kind of repetitive.
Not so good.
Why can't I think? I can't. My brain is blank on that. But anyway, yeah.
Let's look it up.
Every once in a while, it makes me wonder, like when you see a game that has like really bad FMV, I'm just like, why couldn't they figure that out? You know,
dude, that's the vast majority of the games on the Saturn. And as much as I love the Saturn, most of the FMVs suck.
And they'd put like a huge border around it and stuff to try to, and it even still looked bad. You know, like Pandemonium, they put a border around it, and it still looks compressed. And I'm like, why couldn't they just get to grips with, you know, good FMV?
I mean, prime example would be like dude, I just went blank. Again. Dude, the intro to these levels is so awesome, especially since it's in English and you actually have this you know, it's not a dialogue. You got some sound going on up in the background, but it's just like, it looks like a battle map. It's like you're looking through the heads-up display. I mean, not the heads-up display, but like an instrument panel. I mean, it really puts you into it.
Yeah, you know what? One I know suffered a lot was Police Knots. It had really nice, you know, animated things, both anime style cutscenes and the 3D renders.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of it was so blurry, which made me sad.
Dude, Deep Fear.
Oh yeah, you mean as far as like it's not very good looking?
Yeah, it's not very good looking.
It's a little compressed.
Yeah, very compressed.
Oh wait, were you guys talking about Robotica?
Robotica. That's it.
Oh yeah, I just played that for the first time last month.
This is another thing. In all honesty, I prefer the graphics of Gun Griffon 1 because of the fact that you have you can actually see the bullets. You can actually see what's going on with the screen. In Gun Griffon 2, it became very cartoony with how everything was.
Do they do night mode in Gun Griffon 2?
Yes, it's the it's the Y button.
I mean, but I didn't see any levels there that you played that were night mode.
No, not in Gun Griffon 2. Not in Gun Griffon 2.
Oh, okay. So there is no night. There are no night levels in Gun Griffon 2.
No.
Hey guys, I'm gonna have to bail out. I have to head out, so I will talk to you guys later.
Same for, bro.
See you later.
See
you, Pat.
You know what also looks really good, and it's not even True Motion or MPEG, Solar Eclipse. The FMVs in that look really good.
That's the one with it's like the full acting, right? It's like a cast.
Yeah, they got the chick from Babylon 5 to be not the main character, but like
right. It's kind of like a wing commander kind of thing they got going on with that game. Yeah, that and Enemy Zero, the Warp, Kenji Eno's Enemy Zero. I think that one has pretty good looking FMV. And I don't remember if they used Duck or Cinepack. I'm not sure.
Another thing they did change from Gun Griffon 1 to Gun Griffon 2 is that they give you the information you need in regards to you actually destroyed the enemy. That was one of my biggest complaints was that you never even knew if you were you'd shoot an enemy so many different times and not realize that you killed it. And I am going balls to the walls up on this level. I've already got fuselage damage. I'm about to blow up and everything. Another moment of silence.
It's kind of hard to talk about a game you haven't played at all. So, well,
right.
You know, just a little bit of for me, but you know.
I just can't believe how so few people have actually played this game, though. That kind of blows my mind.
Is this game like, are most of the mechs faster than in Gungriffon 2, or were you just playing slow mechs and there are faster?
Oh, whenever you came in, I was playing the exercise mode on Gungriffon 2, and I was utilizing the slowest mech in that game. It's basically nothing more than walking armor. So yeah, that's what you walked into. So that's a lot of that. This right here is the High Mech series, and in my review I talk about how it's basically this just insane, faster than everything, and it's what got me hooked on this game to begin with, was just the speed of this gameplay.
You know, though, Sam, I can totally believe that a lot of people haven't played this game, and I think the reason is there was kind of a glut of mech games in the mid-90s after the popularity of, like, Mech Warrior, and I think a lot of people just don't like I think they dismiss it just on second glance, you know, or on first glance, for that matter, like the muted color palette, and they just assume, you know, they make so many assumptions about the game. But you really only, when you sit down with it and you feel the controls, you realize that it's a different beast altogether.
Right. That's a very,
because this is no Mech Warrior. Like, this is way better than Mech Warrior, way better than Gen Warrior, you know, or any of those, you know, kind of half decent to poor. Yeah, you know, there's just so many mech games, you know. And
that's exactly what I said in my review. It's like I saw titles like Gen Wars, etc., you know, Mech Warrior on the shelves, and you know, people were talking about them, and they were supposedly awesome as hell and everything like that. And it, you know, thinking back now, like, this was the game that I always wanted to play. This was always the game I wanted to play.
Mm-hmm.
Mission complete.
The other thing, you know, at the same time, in the mid-90s, especially on the Saturn, there's a bunch of games that have choppers on the front cover, you know, like war helicopters. Right. And a lot of them are crap, you know. So then a game like Soviet Strike is kind of a sleeper, because it's one of the few, I think, helicopter, you know, kind of helicopter-based games on the Saturn that's actually really good.
Right.
What, you didn't like Blackfire?
I don't know, man. I just couldn't get into it.
This is another part. It's like
Black Dawn. Wasn't there Blackfire and Black Dawn?
Blackfire and Black Dawn, and there was actually there was an Iron Storm and an Iron Rain that came out, but
then Thunderhawk, and you know.
Oh my God.
So you know, you see, as a consumer, you see so many of those games, and you're just like, oh, just another helicopter game. Exactly. That's going to be, you know, like a 40%, you know, and skip it.
If they had utilized the artwork in, like, Gungriffon, the US and the European release, the box art for the game is like, it got my attention as a kid, but to be completely honest with you, inside of the artwork there is it looks like you're looking through a heads-up display and everything's in infrared, and you're looking at one of the high mechs. And if they had used that image instead of this bipedal, like, Gundam looking, whatever the hell it's supposed to be, and it doesn't even look like that, but it looked like a mech out of Mech Warrior. So if they had utilized the different mech designs, because to be completely honest with you, American mech designs and Japanese mech designs are completely different.
Completely different.
American they're bulky, they're slow moving, etc., whereas the Japanese have got this, that everything's sleek, it's fast, it's high speed, you know. And if that would have very much distinguished the game from other games on the table.
Yeah, I think American mech designs kind of get their cues from, like, Alien, you know, where she hops in that mech.
Right.
It's like this really bulky.
Right. Yeah, Aliens.
Yeah, Aliens. Sorry, yeah.
All right, ladies and gents, we have gone on for almost an hour and a half now. I appreciate everybody who stopped by. I don't want to kill too much time. There's a Panzer Dragoon live stream going on over on the Facebooks on Sega Saturn Shiro. You can find them by typing into the search box if you already don't know who they are. Also, this week we will have our third part of our Panzer Dragoon live stream. That'll be going on Thursday night, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Y'all can figure out the time zones. I'm not going to walk through this. There's a lot of time. There's 24 times. Actually, more than that because some people do 30 minutes. If you're in China watching this, I don't even know how. YouTube isn't allowed there. Regardless, we got a lot of things. We've got a lot of things planned up in the way. We also have a schedule up on board now. I'm going to let this beautiful intro animation play one more time for y'all while I'm talking. But we have, let's see. Our schedule, and this is a tentative schedule. This is just to give y'all an idea of what's going on. We're going to try our best to stick close to it, but there will be a live stream every Sunday, community choice as usual. Come over to the Facebook closed group, and you'll be able to vote in that. It's a pretty awesome little poll. We get crazy. They tried to pull the crow again. It didn't happen. We also have
virtual highlights.
We're not doing virtual. If y'all want it, we'll do it. Sure, whatever. But I'm the guinea pig. But we also every other Wednesday we have an episode of Titan Cast Drop. Every other week from that we have a Thursday live stream, which is a late night stream. Kind of sit back, relax. Let's just talk it out and play through a game. Right now we're doing Panzer Dragoon Saga. Once we're done with that, we'll go to something else. Every Friday we'll be dropping a video. That's the schedule right now. Like I said, every one of those things is tentative to change depending on real life. This isn't our first job. We don't get paid for this. We love making content for y'all. We love y'all putting it in and digesting it and giving us feedback. Besides all that, here's the plugs. We have ourselves, Sega Saturn Junkyard. I mean, that's Sega, the Saturn Junkyard. See, I got Pat's stuff throwing in Saturn, Sega and everything all over the place. But Saturn Junkyard, as you can find at the bottom of the screen, you'll see that we have a Twitter handle. We also have Facebook. You can find us. It's not very hard. You can also get a hold of Sega Saturn Shiro. They do an excellent podcast. They're getting into the video making process. You can find them as well over on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. We also have Saturn Memories. He's on all three of them again. We're, social giants, baby. We are social giants. Let's see. What else do we have? That's about it. Anybody want to say some closing remarks, etc., before we dip out?
Go subscribe to Sega Lord X.
Yes. Yeah. If you like our channel, go like Sega Lord X. If you like Sega Lord X and you like our content, give us a subscribe. Give Sega Saturn Shiro a subscribe. Check out the podcast. Show the love.
Absolutely.
All right, boys and girls, this has been the Southern Sega Gentleman. This has also been the Sega Saturn Shiro podcast. This has been Saturn Memories. There's a lot of people here. There's too many people. Regardless, though, we love you. Thanks for stopping by. This is us signing out.
See ya.
Peace.